What is up, guys? It's Richard with SmartTutor.io here with Liz. And a couple weeks ago, I think it's like day 2 or 3, maybe day 4 of the blueprint that I've created for a lot of tutors out there is all about market research. So it's on how to research, your market to create, basically the marketing messaging you want and all kinds of cool stuff for your business. And Liz here saw that video, watched it, and decided to really dive in. And so she did such a fantastic job. I asked her to come and film this video with me so it could benefit kind of all the tutors out there. And so with that being said, I'm actually going to let Liz kind of take over. And she's just going to show the process that she did and kind of her experience with doing all the market research and stuff. She has a whole spreadsheet out, and I think it's really cool stuff. So with that being said, Liz, I'll leave it to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. So as Richard said, I did delve right into this market research, and I'm going to share my screen just so you can see kind of what I did there. So let me just move this out of the way. So what I did is that, first of all, I started looking around online. I did a Google search to see what's out there as far as what schools are out there or websites or people that are tutoring. Since my niche is in ESL, I went ahead and did that Google search to see what's out there as far as the services for people that are looking for online ESL classes. And so I created the spreadsheet. As you can see, I made a few columns on there. And I found these different websites which offer different features, of course. I have 7 of them on there already. I created the URL just so I can, a URL column just so I can access them quicker. And then I created another one that gives me a brief overview of the cost of their classes or their online lessons. If they have packages, I also included that on there. I saw also things like payment options. That's also, I think, something important to keep in mind when you're doing your research, because of course people like to have options. And I also created another column that has the features of the programs that they offer. So on there, I included things like the memberships, if they offer any, if it's courses, what kind of things their courses offer. And just in this area of ESL, there's just so much that I found. So there's people that are doing memberships, that are doing, for example, this one, a 7-month course, and others that focus only like on one part of language acquisition, which in this case, this person just does fluency. Other people that go as far as providing like homework help. The one thing that I did see from my research is that, at least for people that are focusing on tutoring a language, you got to do a lot of free content, because I feel like that's one thing that people are looking for. And I saw more so in the area of ESL. And I know, Richard, you mentioned that a lot as well. Making posting a lot of free content out there, just so you can provide value to people. I saw a lot of that as well. And the last column I added on here was the types of courses that they offer. So I saw everything from business, test prep, grammar, courses for kids, conversational leveled lessons. So there's just so much out there, just to kind of give me an idea of what's already out there in the market, and kind of like to narrow down what it is I want to do. So I did this. This is like the first part of my market research. Like I said, I went in there and I looked at the market, at what's already out there. But the other thing I did, let me just move this out of the way.
So real quick, not to interrupt you, but what types of things did you like type into Google to find these sites?
The only thing I typed in was ESL online lessons or ESL online classes.
Got it.
So that
So
was
like
kind of like my keywords, I guess.
perfect. So if it was like someone for like math or English, you know, or well, you kind of are English, but like for math or chemistry or something like that, they could just type in like, you know, math tutoring online lessons or something like that to start getting some websites.
Yes.
Perfect. Cool. Awesome.
The other part of my research is this other spreadsheet that I have on here. And this spreadsheet, I actually found it from another course that I had bought a long time ago. It's just that I had not really implemented it until Richard came up with this awesome video. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I had already seen a course on this that I hadn't really touched on. So I went ahead and looked at that. It was like a little PDF. So I went ahead and I read the PDF, and that's where I was able to kind of see how to do this part of the research. And so this part is kind of like doing research on the side of the customer. So the first time around that I did research, it was on the side of like the teacher or myself, right? Because I want to be the one, I'm going to be the one offering the services. But this time around, I kind of went in there as if I was the one looking for ESL lessons or as if I was the customer. So what I did is that since I already know people from other countries that have already taken English lessons, I wanted to get their feedback to see how it is that how their experience was in learning English. And I also went into some Facebook groups. You can just research Facebook groups, kind of like the same way I did with Google. Just go in there and join a group like if you want to, like if you're pretending to be a customer that's looking for English lessons, you can kind of just do that, join a group, and you can kind of see the common threads on there of people, what they commonly post on there, if they're, I don't know, having issues with learning a certain skill or a certain subject, like you're going to start seeing those threads in common. So those are very good anecdotes and comments that you can put on a spreadsheet like this one. So like I mentioned, I asked a lot of people that I know in this case. That's where I have this column here that says who, and I put on there if it was a friend. And then if it was a group, that's where I actually, went into like a Facebook group. And I also found a lot of good information there, like kind of like interviewing people and seeing what's already on there. Because people leave so much information on all these posts. You just got to look. So I did find a lot of things like, I guess in the English market, that they study a lot of grammar. There's no real practice with native English speakers. I also added on there the emotional component of how it is that made them feel. And on here, after collecting all the data, you just want to kind of keep the core idea so that you can have an overview of what it is that you collected. And of course, I also added under the URL just so you can have quick access like I did on my other spreadsheet here. But in this case, since it was kind of more like an interview, and for the groups, I didn't really also post it, but you can also do that if you wanted to. And then on here, you can put the type of need that the market has. So for most of them, I put that it was a physical need, of course, because I believe that learning a language has to do with, of course, a lot of work you have to put into it, cognitively, of course, and but there's also the emotional component to it. Like I had put on here on my notes, there's a lot of frustration in not being able to learn or acquire a language, or not being able to pass a test. I know in other countries, this is what I found out from my research. In other countries, they require people to pass us like tests like the IELTS and other things like that to be able to get certain jobs or to go into school. And some people are stuck because they can't pass those tests. So I did see a lot of that emotional component of frustration. The last thing that I'm gonna work on here now that I have the data is, getting the problems, what the needs are of the markets, kind of like the common language that that the specific market has. As far as by language, I mean like the common things that they all shared with me, like feeling frustrated, like feeling stuck, or that they only learn grammar and nothing else. And then some of the common objections that you're going to hear from people that maybe are looking for these services, but maybe they are iffy about proceeding with you. So I'm thinking I can also ask those same people I interviewed, what would be like an objection of yours? Or you can always look online, like in those groups that I had mentioned, kind of to see what are some of those common objections that people would typically tell you. So that's what I did for my two, I guess, methods of doing market research.
That's awesome. I really like this particular one here too, is because the language that you use is gonna be very, very important on your websites, on your ads, because a lot of times when people do marketing, they guess, right? They guess
Exactly.
what they think the audience needs. But if you have the research and you have the data, you'll know exactly how to word that. Like, for example, you had said that a lot of people are kind of tired of, they only learn grammar but nothing else, right? Mm-hmm. And so you could use that to your advantage. Like, hey, have you ever taken a class before for ESL and you only learned grammar, but you missed out on everything else that you wanted to learn? Boom, I have something for you, right? And you're going to be able to connect with your audience on a deeper level because you know exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly. And actually, like, the name of this method is called the mind reading method because, like you said, you're not just guessing, you're not just throwing stuff out there in the air just to see who will reply to you. You're actually throwing out things that people are actually looking for. And so that's how you're going to be able to get more attention from your market like that, because they're going to be able to see, oh, you understand them at a deeper level. This person really knows what they're talking about. And that way you can also build trust with them.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That is fantastic. This is cool. I'm actually super excited to see whenever you have this filled out. That'll be awesome.
Yes.
Cool. So would you say on a scale from 0 to 10, how important is market research?
I would definitely give it a 10. Definitely. It's going to open up your perspective so much, especially if you go as far as interviewing others. I think that's going to really open up your eyes and help you realize what you need to do to be able to market your services better, and like I had mentioned, to build trust with the market out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing this. I think a lot of people are definitely going to find a lot of use out of this. Market research is one of those things that a lot of people don't do because it's not really like the sexy thing to do. It's kind of, it could be boring stuff. But sometimes the boring stuff is what actually makes you the most money, right? Yeah. And allows you to help the most amount of people. So thank you so much, Liz. I'm super excited about this, and I appreciate you.